And now it's time for round 4 of the 1974 F1-SR series at Long Beach, California, United States. Those hairpins. This race is brought to you by the 1974 Chevrolet Vega. The whole back end opens up, and it's quite attractive. The Vega. It brought jobs to Lordstown, Ohio. Also brought to you by Queen Mary Tours, LLC. Come spend a luxurious evening on the Queen Mary in Long Beach Harbor. But don't be a douche and ask when we cast off. That's not nice. Okay, so here come the cars up to the line. Peter Blum won the pole for this race. And Nick Severin's alongside. There you see Angelo in the BRM and Richard Tall in the Parnelli. Here are the rest of the cars coming up to the line. That's me on the left. Jerry McComas on the right there. No fewer than 32 cars were in this race. Yes, you heard that right. 32. And on a course that's this narrow and with concrete walls on both sides, there were bound to be issues. Here come the lights. Green light, here we go. Everybody had real trepidation about Queen's hairpin, which is coming up at the end here, and that trepidation was justified, unfortunately. Down to Queen's hairpin. Everybody trying their best to find racing room and not end the race early. Oh, goodness! What the... That was Sean Hutchinson coming through, taking out several cars. And that's Porks' car doing the magic levitation there. Several guys having to wait a second to get out of the way. Now this is from Sean Hutchinson's car. Now the official explanation is that Sean hit the clutch instead of the brake. Ooh! And you can hear him lift there, so apparently his left foot came down, or right foot. No, it would be his left foot. Left foot came down in the wrong place. He continues on. And there's more craziness waiting for him around the next corner. I actually ran into Paul M. Jones again. Now this is the same incident from Simon Watman's car. Simon told me that he had a great view. And look, there goes the orange cannonball right into the cars. Oh, goodness. And Simon also has an excellent view of the levitating, levitating Brabham. And off goes Simon again. So that was the lap 1 carnage. Continuing with lap 1, the leader is Nick Severin in the JPS Lotus number 31. Peter right behind him in second place. We're on board with him now. Coming down Ocean Boulevard to one of the most interesting parts of the track, where the track just basically drops out from underneath you right here at Linden Avenue. Here come all the cars through. And already they're back down to the other end of the track with the second hairpin. Here it is. Accelerating onto Shoreline Drive, and this completes lap number 1. Nick Severin in the lead. And they were probably thinking to themselves, I wonder how many cars will be upended down here. But fortunately, everyone was out of the way long before that. Now this is on lap number 3, I believe. Here's Nicholas Cole in the pinch plant car trying to overtake Steve Parker in the 3-year-old Tyrrell. Not quite succeeding, but Nicholas is quite the tenacious competitor, and he's not going to give up very easily. Coming down to the second hairpin one more time. You can see how close everyone comes to these concrete walls. You basically have to use them as apexes, and if you're off by a little bit, you could actually nick them and cause serious damage to the car. Here comes Nicholas on the outside, trying on Steve Parker. Steve giving him just enough room there. Down to Queen's hairpin. And uh-oh, more trouble. More cars upended, and that's Johnny Farmer in the second Tyrrell, number 3, making a rare appearance in this series. Do not adjust your set. So now Nicholas has lost it. All this stuff is happening at midfield, by the way. So Nicholas has now lost a position to Ace in the McLaren, number 6. It's still early days, and there's quite a lot of cars close together. Here comes Nicholas. Gonna try another. Oh no! Poor Ace got caught in the back there, and was one of those braking zone type things. Nicholas did wait for him, but apparently Ace didn't want to continue. Not sure if this is mechanically related or what's going on here. Anyway, this is the view from Momo's car, and this is later on at midfield. Johnny Farmer and Steve Parker exchanging positions here. It's Johnny running wide. Steve gets back through again, but Johnny keeps going on the inside, and ooh, a little bit of contact there. Nudges into the wall, and actually bounces off Rari there. But everyone keeps going. This series of turns through here is extremely difficult because you basically have to decide between second and first what's the best way to get through. This is just a lap later. Johnny coming down to Queen's hairpin once again. And you can see how he's braking extremely late for that corner, trying to get as much speed out of the car as possible. Coming inside, oh, no! Just wasn't enough of an opening there to get by Steve Parker. Unfortunately, that would be Steve's retirement from the race. And Johnny, as it turns out, didn't make it very much farther. Oh well. Now this is Richard Tall. He's running about 8th or so, I believe, and he's coming up to do battle with Dylan Yates. And there's the human cannonball in front of Dylan Yates' Sean Hutchinson, who is already a lap down. Dylan gets by, and Richard would like to as well, but oh goodness, just doesn't work. And there goes Sean continuing, even though he actually caused that incident, which is a no-no. Now this is Ace Jr. in the Hesketh, once again driving the incorrect Hesketh. He should be driving Ian Schechter's Hesketh, but there he ran into the same problem that a lot of us did in practice, where the car just gets really loose on that turn. So now he has to have the wing repaired, and Ace, I'm not sure why he ducked into this pit lane, but that is not the right pit lane. The pits are actually along Ocean Boulevard, not Shoreline Drive. So I don't know whether he was mistaken or what, but made for a humorous highlight there. And you can see right there what I was talking about before, where you can actually nick a wall if you get your apex off. So here's Ace Jr. continuing on and trying to stay in front of Rari. And oh man, he got his apex all wrong there. I've done that many times. Rari nudges him aside. And after that, Ace Jr. went to the pits to get a new wing. Probably a preferable thing to do on a course like this. Although, this is Peter Blum, and at this point Peter is now leading the race. He's past Nick Severin, coming along, and he actually runs into the end of the pit lane. I'm not sure whether he was planning to pit or something just went wrong, but anyway, this is interesting. Peter actually calls an audible here. For those of you who aren't American, that's a football reference. He comes down to the end of the pit lane, doesn't stop, and just continues on. I guess he figured, I've already lost enough time with that, I'm just going to see if I can keep driving without the front wing. So he continues on, and actually is doing quite well. Still in the lead, without the front wing. Comes around the corner. Uh-oh. Well, that was a bit early on that one. There he goes. Yeah, he ran into a Rari. but one of those things where it's like, okay, at this point, he's probably incurred some serious damage, and now he's going to commit to the pit lane. Last time he was able to keep the lead because he didn't stop. Not going to be the same situation now. Here is our new leader, Nick Severin, taking first place as he flashes by the pits on Ocean Boulevard, down onto Linden Avenue. And there are other cars filing through as well, most notably Joel Trombley and Angelo and Dylan Yates. So after the pit stop, and we're going to see him come out in a second here. There he is. So at this point, Peter is now running in 5th place. Eventually, though, Nick Severin would have to stop, which promoted Peter to 4th. And now we see he's caught back up to the top 3. There's Peter sneaking through to take Dylan, so now he's up to 3rd place. Angelo running in 2nd behind Joel Trombley. A little bit of a miscue there by Philippe Maroc. And Angelo, unfortunately, had nowhere to go. So he continues on. Now here's Peter with Joel in his sights, who's leading, and first he has to get by Sean. I'll let these images speak for themselves. So now Peter is by Sean, coming down to the 2nd hairpin. So now after having 2 accidents and having to repair his wing, making 2 stops effectively, Peter is back in a position to win the race. Quite remarkable. Down to Queen's hairpin one more time. It's nice to see Joel Trombley leading the race because he had a not as good of a race in Canada, a track that he probably would have loved to win on, being that he is from Canada. The other thing to consider in this instance is that Peter is on fresh tires. That may not necessarily be the case for those around him. Down the chute. Closer, closer, closer. When you're this close, you can just reach out. Sam Posey would say you can just reach out and feel that guy ahead of you. 2nd hairpin. And this is all important, getting purchase coming off of this corner so that you can drag down the long straight. And he's got a good toe now. Down to Queen's hairpin. Here comes the maneuver. And Peter is now back in the lead. And he would go on to win the race. Valiant effort by Joel Trombley, but it was yet another win for Peter Blum, who is the overwhelming points leader. Now, this was one of the more interesting finishes in the race. This was for a top 5 finish. We have Dylan Yates competing with Richard Tull here, just fighting tooth and nail to the finish. Coming down 2nd hairpin, and look at the purchase that Dylan gets off of that corner. Comes down to the start-finish line, and don't blink. They actually crossed the line right with each other. The computer said they crossed at the exact same time, to the 1,000th of a second. Unbelievable. Dylan was actually scored ahead. I'm not sure why. Must have been a 10,000th of a second in there. Anyway, there's where we are.